Hello. Next, I'd like to actually work on. So now we have the DICOM images for 4 studies downloaded. I'd like to go ahead and let's go ahead and import these, upload these images into our DICOM server that we have on our own laptop or PC, whatever that we're using for training. One thing that I wanted to point out real quick from the last video that I did is that I want to make a slight correction. Is that when we did the search, let's see. So the slight corrections, so I missed this here. So this right here, this column shows the number of studies, and that's why before, when we chose the first patient, or when we chose the first selection here, I thought it was 1 study. It was actually 4 total studies. So that's why we have 4 studies downloaded onto our workstation. And it shows the total number of series. So that's how we have 4 studies. Okay, so we can close out of here for now. Now, so we have 4 studies, and we want to upload them to our DICOM server, our Orthanc DICOM server. So let's open up Google Chrome's what I like to use, but you can use any web browser you feel comfortable with. And let's go back to our default port, and this is the URL with the HTTP port. Now here we're going to go to upload. So it's saying that this page is that Chrome may be affected with an issue, but this is Chrome, not Firefox. So if we want, we can just use Chrome and then Explorer to be on the safe side. Shouldn't matter really. Either way, this is only for testing, but if we wanted to, we can just use. Oh, this page is currently affected as well. So it doesn't matter. So it's also with IE. So let's just stick with Chrome. So they provide a simple drag and drop. So what we'll do here, we'll come to our studies. Let's go to the study here, study instance UID. You can choose any study you like. This is one we're going to choose right now for testing. These are the 4 different series. Select them all, Control A, select all, drag them here. Simple as that. Some of them actually have the same DICOM name. Let's see what happens. They all have. All right, and some of them. So these 3. I wonder if it makes a difference or not, because this is named the same as the last images in these 3 series. Well, let's just see what happens. So we have them here. Start the upload. Okay. Now we go back to patients. So now we have our patient in the list here. This is the actual patient name because it's these studies are anonymized. So the patient name is also the same as the patient ID. So we have one study. So it should be one study. Or let's see, yes. So let's go back there. Just wanted to verify. So this one correlates to one study for this patient. Click on this. Click on that, and then we'll get the study details here. We have a few options that we can do here. We can delete the patient, send to remote modality, anonymize, download zip, download DICOMDIR. So let's just talk about these just for delete this patient is, well, let me see. Let's start with this, protected or unprotected. I believe, I haven't tried this out, but I believe if you protect the study, most likely with my interaction with other systems, when you protect the study, that means that the study cannot be deleted. We can test it. Didn't work. Deleted it anyway. So let's go back and let's go back and upload the study again. Okay. Click on the patient. So typically when you protect the study, that means that you can't delete it. I'm not sure what this does here, if it's protected or unprotected. What does that mean? I had to look at the documentation for that. Deletes this patient, deletes the study. Send to remote modality. If we had a modality, we'll be able to test this scenario when we set up mimic a modality using the DCM TK. We'll be able to mimic a modality. We'll be able to test this. Anonymize, anonymize is the actual study, just like it already is anonymized. And then we can download this study as a zip, and then also we can download it, the DICOMDIR. So the DICOMDIR, so once you download a study, or let's say you want to export a study, you want to export these images and you want to send them to, put them on a CD, or typically a DICOMDIR is for when in PACS systems. Let's say if the patient wants to take a copy of their scans that they had, their report with their images, with their images, take it with them. Typically, a PACS system has the ability to burn a CD, or the PACS system can send the study to a CD burner, to where the CD burner will actually burn the images, the study, onto a CD. Those images that get burnt onto a CD normally have a DICOMDIR, DICOM directory, which is just the structure for the DICOM directory. Maybe we'll be able to run through an example of that. Let's do that here, just for an example, so we can see. So here's where the file was downloaded. Let's cut that. And so this is what a DICOM, what it looks like when it says DICOMDIR. This is the DICOMDIR is actually, it's kind of like it's a pointer to all of the actual, has the identifying information for the actual images themselves. So these are the images, and the DICOM directory points to the actual DICOM images, the data. So as far as example, let's open up this DICOMDIR with Notepad++. Most of it's going to be unreadable, but what it does is that it's kind of like mimics kind of like a database per se, or just a pointer reference, because you can kind of read. This is the the patient ID, patient name, has the study. Let's view word wrap. What do we have here? Most of it is unreadable, but so again, we have the patient, BR, PN, patient name, patient ID, study. Here's the study. Series. So what it does is that it's an actual reference point to it lets you know what it's kind of like a header. It contains, it's kind of like what they call like a DICOM header. It contains all of the information for the actual images themselves. Without having this DICOMDIR, it would make it difficult to actually import just the actual raw images without having this DICOMDIR. So that's what the DICOMDIR is for. And you'll see here, like here where it describes, talks about the actual images, 10, most likely one of these is the actual SOP instance UID. One of these are. So that's the DICOMDIR. And these are the images that it references. Okay. Now, download zip just downloads this images into a zip folder. Now, if we click on the actual study itself, so we'll see that we have the four series in the study. And then if we click on the actual, and it lets us know what the series instance UID is. And it has some identifiable information about the series. So we click on the series. So now we're at the series. We got the image level, and the SOP instance UID. That's the unique identifier for the actual image, right? And so each SOP instance UID has to be unique. Typically, has to be unique within the database. Some databases may not. Yeah, well, I believe that should be the DICOM standard. Is you have to have a unique identifier. You can't have two of the same SOP instance UIDs or series instance UIDs or study instance UIDs. But to my knowledge. So it lists all the SOPs, all the images. If you click, then you can actually click on the actual image SOP instance UID. And this right here will allow us to display the actual DICOM tags. So then we can take a look at the different DICOM tags. You know, again, you'll have DICOM tags have 4 characters, comma, another 4 characters, so they have 8 characters. And then it has little listed description. This actually lists the description, and then the last column is the actual value for each DICOM tag. SOP instance UID, SOP class UID, study instance UID, series instance UID. So here's how you can access the DICOM tags if you wanted to see DICOM tags for a particular study. I'm not sure if I talked about SOP class UID, but the SOP class UID is the type of study that you're actually looking at. So we can look at the description. So SOP class UID, for example, let's take a look, see if we can find out what this is. I mean, this should be a let's see. Let's go to so what we need let's just go to the DICOM library. Here's the DICOM library. Let's click on DICOM tags. And actually, not DICOM tags, but SOPs. SOP class UID. You know, if it doesn't have it here, we could probably just do a Google search. But let's see what we have here. 212 CT. So this is a CT image storage. So this is what the that image is. The SOP class UID. That tells you what type of study it is, what the study type. And actually says it right here. Modality, CT. And the SOP CT image storage. Here's the SOP class UID. And so this is a good way to be able to try to familiarize yourself with the different DICOM tags, so you can get familiar. Again, this stuff is going to be very useful. Again, this is going to be very useful for you for when this type of training knowing, saying that you familiarize yourself with DICOM tags, you have experience with that. You can tell how to how to do DICOM verification. You know how to actually tell what the subclass UID. I mean, you know about DICOMDIR and what it's used for, and how to download a DICOMDIR. So all of these, what we're learning is going to be very useful, and I feel confident that this will be helpful for you in your quest for your getting a career in healthcare IT. So just learning about these different DICOM tags, practicing around with it, with everything that we just learned so far, being able to import, play around with that, play around with the Orthanc DICOM Server, look at the different DICOM tags, look at the different series, and just get comfortable with it. That's the purpose. And anything else it's in here is important. It just listed the different DICOM tags. The main ones that are the subclass UID, SOP instance UID, which we already described what that is. SOP instance UID is the unique identifier for the study. SOP class UID is the type of image it is. The modality, study date, series date, body part examined, and then of course study instance UID and series instance UID. Let's go back up to the series, and let's go back up to the. I'm going to go back up to the study. Let's go back up to the patient level. And so and the study was in 1999. And so that's how you, an overview of how you download, how you actually import studies, how you can import studies into the Orthanc DICOM Server, and how you get familiarized with actually playing around with this server in the actual studies that are in it. So I hope this was very helpful for you, and until next time, take care.